Y'all need to get a load of this shit right here. So recently, my boy's family kicked him out of his house just because he voted for Trump. Disowned him, blocked him, all that. And he had to move to Texas. Mind you, I'm all the way up in Michigan. Go ahead, pause and read. You got it? Bet. So he called me, and the reason they gave him was that he didn't respect their rights, so they don't want him in the household. Y'all know Trump is pro-choice, right? Like, he's always been pro-choice. That's one of his biggest things because, well, honestly, he's a billionaire and he is a celebrity. So a billionaire celebrity, I could say, had a couple abortions in his lifetime. I can guarantee you that. And another thing is, the president cannot overturn a Supreme Court decision at all. Like, they're called Supreme Court for a reason. A president cannot codify Roe v. Wade when it's already at the state level. Like, they can't bring it to federal level. What are y'all talking about? This shows how much hatred can control you, because Donald Trump control y'all. That the ones that don't like him, he controls y'all. He can make y'all break up y'all families and relationships just off of existing. That's control. And the crazy part about it is he's only in the office for 4 years. Hell, he's 78. Do you think disowning people, demonizing people, and calling them racist, homophobic, misogynist, woman-hating, all this shit is gonna make you be on their side? Because remember, the presidency is a popularity contest. Y'all literally pushing people to the other side because y'all take politics so serious. And a lot of people don't really take politics that serious, whether you want to believe it or not. Most people didn't vote for Trump. They just didn't like Kamala, if we were being honest. At the end of the day, you control your own fate. You control your own happiness. Bring the power back to yourself. Like, my dog ain't even mad. He called they ass sore losers. What the fuck?
So my parents cut me off for supporting Donald Trump. My family disowned me. My cousins don't speak to me. I'm alone in this world, but you know, it's cool. I'm still going to fight for what I believe in, and I'm still voting for Donald Trump on November 4th. And best believe I'm going to that NYC Trump rally on the 27th. And I'm going to fight for what I believe in. The Democrats love to brainwash black people into thinking that they're the best candidates for this country. But I ain't believing that shit. Make America great again. Trump, baby.
MAGA family, I'm choosing to not invite my parents to my wedding because they didn't invite me to my brother's funeral. So that makes sense, right? I'm not a bad person. It's fair. You don't invite me to my brother's funeral, I'm not inviting you to my wedding.
Trump 2024 MAGA family. My brother got shot in Philadelphia last night, and he's in critical condition right now in the hospital. I don't know if he's going to make it, and this breaks my heart. So everyone just please pray for my brother. And I don't know. He's only 21 years old. It's crazy. And he didn't talk to me because I'm MAGA for a while, but family's family, and I just hope he makes it out. And I just need prayers from all of you guys. Please, MAGA family. I'm very stressed, and I love you all, but let's pray for him. MAGA family, my fellow Trump supporters, I was invited to have dinner with Donald Trump in a couple weeks due to my videos surfacing and going viral. Somebody on his team reached out to me, and I'm going to fly into Florida in like a couple weeks and going to do an interview with some people out there, and then I get to have dinner with Trump because a girl that I know, her brother works for Trump, and they set it up and everything. And I think it's going to be good. Blacks for Trump movement that I really feel like I had a big part to play in that. Trump wants to just have a conversation at dinner, and I'm very excited. But yeah, I get to meet Trump in a couple weeks, and he's my idol and everything. So I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I love you all.
MAGA family, my fellow Trump supporters, Mary from New York put a whole down payment for me to live in this nice, beautiful penthouse in New York City for a whole year. Thank you so much, Mary. I had nowhere to go. I was homeless, and I couldn't thank you enough. MAGA family, this is what being a great patriot and a great American citizen is all about. Mary helped me when I was at my worst, and she knew I had nowhere to go, and I just can't thank you enough, Mary. I love you. MAGA family, I'll never turn my back on y'all, and you guys are the reason why I'm still here today and still functioning, because you guys told me and taught me to never, ever give up, and I'm fighting for what I believe in, and it paid off. I'm now in New York City, and Mary, thank you again so much for the apartment. I love you, and you're forever in my heart.
MAGA family, can I please spend Christmas with somebody? My fiance's in the hospital, and I have no one to spend Christmas with. I would love to spend it with one of my fellow MAGA followers, and I love you guys the same way you guys show love for me. And MAGA family, my fellow Trump supporters, I just don't want to spend Christmas alone. So if anyone wants to spend Christmas with me, please, my DMs are open. Let me know. And I love you guys. Trump 2024, guys. It's going to be the best year ever.
So I recently saw a video where a Kamala Harris supporter told her parents who voted for Donald Trump that they cannot see her or their grandchildren during this holiday season because the grandparents chose to vote for Donald Trump instead of voting for Kamala Harris. And for those of you out there who may be experiencing the same thing from your family, friends, and loved ones, I understand exactly how you feel. I lost my father when I was 16 years old. So everyone in my family tends to gather either over my mother's house or over somebody else's house in the family. But this year, I honestly do not know if I will be welcome at anyone's table for the holidays. And I'm okay with that because I made up in my mind that I am going to be true to myself. I accept Kamala Harris supporters for who they are and don't require them to change. So I don't want to be around people who require me to change in order for me to enjoy their company. If I am not welcome at anyone's table this year, I will be okay because I would rather be myself than to sell out a piece of who I am to enjoy somebody else's company. I've also had other relatives scream at me at the top of their lungs because I supported Donald Trump. Never once have I brought up the topic of politics with anyone in my family or tried to change anyone's mind. But they are the ones who always bring it up and who are always trying to change my mind. I only imagine how hard it must be for a grandparent not to be able to see their grandchildren during the holiday season. But if you're going through anything like that, just praying that God would bless you and strengthen you. But I'm also praying that God would touch the hearts of these Kamala Harris supporters who are doing this, who are cutting off relationships with lifelong friends, family members, just because they didn't do what you wanted them to do. People think they're winning, but anytime you separate grandchildren from their grandparents, that's a losing battle. Anytime you're willing to tear apart families, that's a losing battle. And that reveals the condition of your heart.
So boom, I get a call from my auntie asking me, am I going to come to the Thanksgiving dinner? I told her, I don't know. I might stay at home and just chill by myself. Why? She say, if you come, can you not talk about Trump? I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on? Why I can't talk about Trump? He said, you the only one that voted for Trump in our family. We all Democrats over here and we supported Kamala. I was like, so what that got to do with it? She said, we just don't want to get into no argument over here because we know that you're going to start talking about Trump and we don't want to hear it. I said, if y'all talking about Trump and y'all lying, I can't have a rebuttal to it? She said, no, we just want everything to go smooth. I told her, I ain't coming then because I don't want to hear nothing about Kamala if I can't talk about Trump. Ain't you think that's kind of biased? She said, well, if you do come, can you not wear none of Trump apparel? I can't wear my hat. I can't wear my t-shirt. Lady, you must be out your mind. Just don't want me to tell y'all that y'all had an expensive concert, okay? And y'all paid all your money into a campaign that didn't go nowhere. I can't say that. She lied. She lied. Y'all got bamboozled? She said, I guess if you're going to be like that, we don't need you to come. I told her, bye. I guess I'm going to be eating tacos for Thanksgiving because I don't give a damn. If I can't talk about Trump, y'all can't talk about Kamala. Just simple as that. I guess family ain't family no more.
To those of you who have been losing friends, family, and followers over your voting decision this past Tuesday, I want to let you know that first and foremost, you are not alone. There are many of us. As a matter of fact, a majority of us in this country have been experiencing this, where we're either losing relationship, people are wanting to eradicate of us completely or change the dynamic of the relationship, etc. Secondly, and more importantly, I want to let you know that this is a gain in your life. This is a positive. It may not seem that way, especially if you have a mother or a brother, a sister, somebody who has been close to you your entire life, a best friend you knew since kindergarten, making a decision that they don't want to be in a relationship with you. This may be painful. It may be hard to understand and comprehend, but I promise you that this is a blessing in disguise. The people who leave you based upon conditions are conditional lovers, and love cannot be conditional. Therefore, they really never loved you in the first place, because they don't love themselves. What we're dealing with here is a form of narcissism, oftentimes referred to as covert narcissism. These individuals are grown children in adult bodies. They are toddlers in adult form. We're dealing with individuals who have never learned how to deal or to regulate their emotions in a healthy way. These individuals become unhinged when somebody disagrees with them. They see it as a threat. They're living in fight or flight. These are fear-based individuals. These are individuals who've been given over to propaganda, misinformation, and so they can't see clearly. And so again, I want to let you know that though this may be painful, it may be hard, and it may be the last thing that you wanted to happen, you're going to be better off for it. This is your personal journey. This is what it looks like now. And I want you to continue to stand for the truth and in your truth. No longer being the silent majority as we have oftentimes been. We will not be silenced.
Hey Trump supporters, why do y'all get so upset when we treat you like you treat everyone else? Do y'all think that you're the only ones who get to play asshole? Most of us on the left have been holding back because we want to live in a polite society, but you guys don't seem to want that. But y'all also get really upset when people treat you like you're stupid. The problem with that is that you believe the most outlandish, stupid shit without looking it up at all. And to some degree, I get it. Those of us who are raised with things like devils and demons and hell, it disables your ability to think critically sometimes. Because we can't see those threats, but we're told that they are always there, it always has you on guard. Things like the deep state work exactly the same way. I keep having these conversations with these Trumpers who keep trying to tell me that I'm blind, that I don't see the things that are just going on in this world. And when I ask them to explain them, they try and tell me some of the most outlandish bullshit that they heard, and they think it is absolute gospel true. They think that if a kid runs away from home and makes it to California, they can get a sex change operation in their school if they want to. Why do they believe that? Because they were told by right-wing media to believe that. But if you push back on them at all and you say, give me the name of the hospital, show me the news story where this actually happened, they get really defensive. They say things like, it's happening in all the blue state schools and hospitals, and you can't trust the media to tell you anything. It is the ultimate confirmation bias. I believe it because that's what I've been told, but I can't prove it because the left wing has been trying to stifle it. That's why they think that Epstein was killed by Hillary Clinton. They believe Venezuelan gangs are taking over apartment complexes in Colorado. They believe that Tom Hanks had a baby for Thanksgiving dinner. No matter how outlandish the story sounds, they completely believe it. But if you ask them, please just give me any evidence to it whatsoever, they're just like, whatever, lib, whatever I show you, you're not going to believe anyway. Which is code for, I don't have any evidence whatsoever for what I believe in. But I shouldn't have to have any evidence for what I believe in because I don't have any evidence for God, and I totally believe in that. And it gets so exhausting. Trump supporters, we don't want to talk to you anymore because we just can't handle it. It's just too much bullshit. And you will believe fucking anything. Trump supporters have a goddamn addiction to bullshit. You deserve to be ignored. You deserve to be excluded from the holidays. Because you have proven that your belief in this bullshit is way more important than anybody in your families. And people on the left, the more isolated we can make these people feel, the faster they're going to hit rock bottom. Either that or they're just going to get deeper and deeper into the cult, which they're probably going to do anyway. And we all know the typical ending for most cultists. So if you emotionally distance yourself from these people now, then maybe it won't hurt as bad once they're gone for real. Because if they're not taken out by the cult, they're going to try and take out the rest of us with the cult.
I bet you've always wondered how someone could go from voting for Barack Obama to supporting Bernie Sanders and then voting for and supporting Donald Trump. Well, we asked a Black Republican exactly how that happened for him. Here's what he had to say.
I was a lifetime Democrat, probably the only Republican that I know of in my family, but I was a lifelong Democrat.
And you are, just for the record, you're from Mississippi.
Mississippi, from the great Magnolia State.
A black person from Mississippi, which means you were a Democrat.
Yeah, longtime Democrat up until 2016. I had said that if the Democratic Party nominated Hillary Clinton, because I was against Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all of that era of Democrats, I said that I was going to leave the Democratic Party. I was like,
what a personality.
Oh, a number of things.
Because they weren't far left enough for you.
Oh, no.
No, the Clintons are terrible. I'm with you. I'm with you so far. I'm with you so far.
Problem with Hillary that Hillary alone would make you leave the Democratic Party?
I didn't like what the Clintons represented when it came to the Democratic Party. I thought that there were too many people beholden to the Clintons, and I did not like the era of Clintons. I did not like Hillary Clinton talking about super predators. I didn't like none of that stuff. But so I left the Democratic Party. I said that, and in fact, believe it or not, I started thinking that I was going to vote for Jeb Bush, because I said, if they nominate Hillary, I'll just switch over and vote for Jeb Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
Well,
so far.
Well, Jeb Bush got out. I think
Jeb exclamation point.
Maybe in January of that year.
Let me ask you. Okay, so there's Bernie. You went to Bernie.
Yep.
Why not Trump at that time?
Well, because I was still a Democrat. I said myself, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm still a Democrat, and to be honest,
what are the Democratic principles that you liked?
A number of. You know what? I'll say this. Until I became a Republican, I realized that I was, like many people, you're a product of your environment. So I grew up around Democrats. I just became a Democrat. I didn't know why I became a Democrat. I just became a Democrat.
So there were no Democratic principles that you...
Well, I guess maybe the other question is, did you become more conservative, or were you always conservative?
What I realized in 2016, that I had conservative principles that I just... suppressed?
Sure.
Because that's not the Democrat thing to do. So even as a Democrat, when I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm pro-choice. Okay. And people were around me like, well, you can't be a Democrat there.
But my question to you, as a lifelong conservative and someone who, deeply believes in the principles of conservatism, what drew you to Trump? Because he's not conservative at all, not personally, and his policies, like protectionism and skyrocketing the debt and America First, none of that's conservative. So what drew you to Trump from a position of identifying as a conservative at that time?
Well, I didn't look at Trump as a conservative. Like, he wasn't. When I think of conservative Republicans,
he's not.
I look at people like one of my favorite, Condoleezza Rice.
Sure.
As I continue
Mitt
to say,
Romney, John McCain, right?
Not John McCain, but
What?
not Mitt Romney.
What?
Well, I'm giving you my.
Who's your version of conservative?
I'm telling you.
Wait, you're saying John McCain is not conservative?
No. My.
Not your jam.
When I was a Democrat,
a conservative that you would like, not that
when
he's
I
not
was a Democrat,
conservative.
there are
personalities? Because I hear no policies.
because I haven't been allowed to get to that point.
Fair enough.
When I was a Democrat, I looked at people like GW. I looked at people like Condoleezza Rice.
Yep.
Those are people that I said, I like, whether they were conservative, Republican, it really didn't matter. I like them.
Yeah, they were
Now,
great.
there were a number of things. It wasn't just personality. There were a number of other things. Now, people attacked George, G.W. Bush. Remember, Kanye West said, that he was racist. I started looking at those type of things, even in how we look at race. And that's how, during the Obama administration, I was one of those who, and I will admit, I had a lot of unfair expectations of Barack Obama as a black president. There were many things that I assumed, we got a black president now, so we about to be good up in here. And I realized that was just unfair to Barack Obama. But when I started looking at some of the actual policies, I realized, like, you know what? I like to keep more money in my pocket.
Child, people are taking this to the extreme. I could understand that people are angry that people are voting for something that would not improve their lives for their, against their interests. But I do not support the fact that people are getting disowned simply because they voted for the other party. You cannot just cut your relationship from your family members. You cannot just disown your family members simply because they voted for the other party, right? I'm not for Democrats. I'm not for Republicans. I'm just for the better good for everybody, right? So it is important that, people shouldn't be ostracized based on their party affiliations and based on their voting choices, right? Because people have the right to vote for whoever they feel like it's the best candidate for them, right? And what happens to trying to stay amicably or understand or stay in harmony with people who have diverse different opinions about things, right? I know it's gonna affect every one of us, right? But what are you gonna do? You're gonna just cut them off completely because they voted for the other party? I keep saying it, and I'm not gonna stop. You can't just ostracize people simply because they voted for the other party, right? what happens to, accommodating people from diverse opinions and all of that. Anyway, for the second guy is literally cashing people. He's just using that MAGA to be famous, to be popular. And at some point they said he was homeless, and one of his MAGA tribes actually got him a penthouse for a year. They paid his penthouse for a year. Can you believe it? And then he lost his brother, and I think he was not invited for the funeral, and he keeps using it to cash out. I mean, the guy is being smart. I feel some people are just calling on this MAGA. They belong to the MAGA because they want some sort of financial support. I mean, to me, they are trying to garner some financial support. It's not as if they believe in what the party would offer. They just want to, be famous. They just want to ride on that popularity. Guys, I don't know what you think about these videos, but please kindly drop your comments in the comment section, and kindly share and like the button, and don't forget to click on the notification bell as not to miss any of my videos, right? But please do me the honor and subscribe. I've noticed that a lot of people do come here to watch the videos. Please, if you support this content and if you want me to be bringing a lot of such content, please kindly do me the honor and hit on that subscribe button, okay? And don't forget to always come back for more videos. Thank you for stopping by. Have a great day.